Hello, hello. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Piano Keys. I hope everything is working. I hope you can hear me. Thank you so much for saying hello in the comments. Yay! So if you can hear me, give me a thumbs up click and tell me yes, I can hear you. I know there's a bit of a lag, so I'm looking over here and I'm pointing here as though you can see. I'm pointing at my screen. I have a little bit of a different setup today than my normal recording. I thought you might want to get a side view of what I'm doing and also see my face so we can chat. All right, sounds great. Yay! Oh my gosh, it's a miracle. All right, so I'm so glad you guys are here. Hi, Herman. Hi, Cindy. Hi, Diane. Hi, Michelle. Hi, Anna. Yay. All right. So today is the first time I'm actually going to play live for you guys one of my arrangements. And it's a Christmas song because we're coming up on Christmas. You know, as a pianist, unless you're like really good at sight reading, and even then, you start preparing for Christmas before Christmas, right? So you can play the Christmas music at your family get-togethers or whatever it is that you do to celebrate. I especially love Christmas music. There's something so, I don't know, warm, and it just feels good. I love Christmas music, even the ones that most people hate, like that Mariah Carey song. You know, all I want for Christmas is you. I love that song. So today I'm going to do In the Bleak Midwinter. There are lots of settings of this song. A setting basically is when a composer takes lyrics and puts them to music. So this started out as a poem by Christina Rossetti in the late 1800s. And the two most famous settings are by Gustav Holst, which is the one that I took, that melody and that harmonic suggestion, and somebody named Dark. I think his first name is Jonathan Dark, something like that. Hi, Miguel. Hi, Antonio. Hi, Mitch. By the way, if you're watching the replay of this, I will put a link to when the music starts, so you don't have to watch all this stuff if you don't want to. So don't worry about that. But so there are two famous settings of this poem, one by Gustav Holst and one by, I think it's Jonathan Dark. It's not coming to me right now. The last name is Dark. So Gustav Holst was a composer who lived at the end of the 1800s and the beginning of 1900s, and his most famous work is a series of symphonic pieces called The Planets. And The Planets takes, you know, all the planets, and I guess back when he was around, I don't even know how many planets are considered planets now. But anyway, he takes every planet and he wrote a piece around it. And these works were a huge inspiration to a lot of the very famous composers of film music. So if you listen to the planets, you might find similarities to like Star Wars or Superman or things like that, okay? So if you're not familiar with the planets, go take a look. I'm sure you can just do a real quick YouTube search and find. But other than the planets and In the Bleak Midwinter, Holst doesn't have a whole lot of really famous pieces, although he's got a lot of pieces. And for most of his time as a composer before the planets, he was basically unknown. And he was a musician, like most musicians, just kind of slogging through life, you know, doing his thing and making a living. And then all of a sudden the planets happened and people really were interested in Gustav Holst's music, or his himself. And he wasn't a person that was really into fame, so he kind of retreated. And that's the story of Gustav Holst. So In the Bleak Midwinter is a Christmas song about the night of the birth of Jesus. And I'll play my arrangement of it for you. And I'm looking over here because that's where my music is. And then I'll tell you, here's what I'll do. I'll play my arrangement, then I'll play the hymn arrangement that Gustav Holst wrote. And then I'll come back to my arrangement and tell you why I chose certain elements to put into it. and how I then interpret those elements as a pianist. So I played two roles here. One of the roles is to be the creator of the arrangement, and the other role is to be the performer of the arrangement. Okay, 8 planets. Thank you, Herman. Pluto got demoted. I thought I heard recently that it was considered a planet again. That's why I'm a little bit confused. I don't know. You'll have to tell me. So, all right, Antonio, we said hi. Okay, so are you all ready to hear this music? I'm hoping my page turner works. I have a little pedal down here. And I'm going to move the what is this called? I'm going to move the microphone out of the way. So here we go. I forgot to ask you if you can hear the piano, but all right. So that is my arrangement of In the Bleak Midwinter. And let's see what you guys are saying. What is Maria playing? My name's Marina. I'm playing my arrangement of In the Bleak Midwinter, which is a Christmas song. Because they found out it's really very big dog. It's soothing. Thank you so much, Johnny. Hi, NK. Cindy, thank you so much. Hi, Matt. You're late. That's okay. You'll have to hear the music on the replay. Sweet. Thank you, Greg. And Ladanza Tube. Hello. Thank you so much, Cindy. Thank you, Anna. Thank you, Diane. Thank you, Dennis. So I really enjoyed playing it. It's soothing to me, too. So one thing as a performer that really is helpful is to get inside the music, past the notes, and inside what the music is trying to say. Even if it doesn't have lyrics, it's trying to convey something, right? Of course, before you can get past the notes, you have to be able to play the notes. Like, that's a given. But you don't just want to play the notes. So that part is called musical interpretation or being musical. It's the difference between someone saying, I love you, just saying the words, and saying them in a way, I love you, that really shows that they have that emotion. Of course, I didn't say it well because I'm talking to a screen. But, all right, so I'm going to play for you now the version that Gustav Holst wrote, which is the choral version. And I'm going to have to scroll through a thing because I didn't... Let's see, can I do it? I might have to pick up my hand at some point and move it. So in this version, there are 5 verses. Oh, before I play this version for you, so I'm not going to redo all the lyrics or the poem, but the first verse or the first stanza of the poem is so well done. The use of language is so well crafted that I wanted to share it with you. And it gives me a clue into the spirit of the song. Okay, so I'll just read you the very first part of the poem. So she wrote, this is Christina Rossetti. In the bleak midwinter, frosty wind made moan. So frosty wind made moan. She doesn't say the wind was cold and it was making sounds. She modifies the wind with the word frosty, so you already get that feeling of chill. And made moan, it was like the wind was an entity that created something, a moan, right? So the moan then becomes a thing too, so you can really feel that the chilly, windy like sound, right? I love that. I love how she just starts that poem off like that. And snow had fallen, snow on snow, snow on snow. She doesn't say there was a lot of snow. Snow had fallen, snow on snow, snow on snow. Like there's a picture that she's creating. And when you make your music, when you play the piano, you also want to, at least in my mind, I think in pictures. Okay? So then she says, in the bleak midwinter, long ago. All right, so that's just the first stanza or the first verse, and I just really love how she used the language. So I'll play for you the hymn version, and then we'll go back to my version and tell you what I changed and why. Okay? So here's the hymn. So if you are used to singing in church, go ahead and sing. Okay, so you can see I kept the melody in my version and I kept a lot of the harmony, but I changed quite a bit as well. So what did you hear? You can answer. This is class on Sunday morning, or at least this morning where I am. What did you hear that was different between my version and Holst's version? So while I'm waiting, Diane, if you want to learn this piece, thank you for reminding me. I'm very bad at marketing. So in the description box, you find the link to my arrangement. It's only 2 pages, so it's not that hard to learn. Also, go check out my t-shirts. I love doing a bunch of different things in the arts, and I love designing and things like that. So I decided to take some time away from editing videos and things like that and have some fun. Not that this isn't fun, but you know what I mean. Do something different and create designs, and I put them on t-shirts. You can find that link in the description box. And when you buy the t-shirts, you support me and you get a cool t-shirt. They're really, really soft. It's thepianokeys.com/shop, or you can just click on the link. Okay. Matt, this is the same apartment. So I'll tell you, you see that piece of wood behind me holding up I rearranged how I set up. So I'm facing a different way. I'm facing my windows, and that way I don't have to use a whole lot of lighting. But also I found these pieces of wood that somebody had thrown away. I brought them up and I made these shelves that hang, that you can see behind me. And I put some plants on them. I'm looking at them right now in the display. And I had bought this like room divider before I moved here. So I made the shelves and put them on the room divider. There are t-shirts. Please go check them out. I finally figured out how to sell them worldwide. They're really cool. I have a couple of Christmas ones, one featuring Beethoven as Santa Claus. Okay, so erased all my worries. Thank you so much, Matt. I love that. The hymn version is written for a 4-part choir, Greg. And then, of course, the organist or the pianist of the church will play the same arrangement, so that, Greg, you've been in church for a long time. So it's written 4 parts. The soprano is the melody, the alto is the harmony, and then tenor's harmony, and the bass is basically taking all the root chords of the roots of the chords. But that's what the organist plays, and that's what the congregation sings, the top line, the alto part. You love the t-shirts? Thank you. Please get them, because I spend a lot of time, but I also want them to be enjoyed by people, and I want to make some money. So okay, sounds more solemn and reflective. Sounds like winter. Do you mean my version, Anna, or the original? I forgot my question. We'll purchase your arrangement. Thank you so much, Diane. So you'll notice that in Gustav Holst's version, there's no introduction written. So usually what the organist would do is play the last 4 measures or so of the song, or however long they want, as the introduction, and then the congregation would know what song it is, how it sounds, and they would start singing. But I put in an actual introduction. So the purpose of the introduction, when there is no singer, usually if there's a singer, the introduction gives them a sense of the key, right? So that you don't have to go, hey, this is your starting note, right? You play an introduction, they go, oh, that's my starting note. Okay. But the introduction also serves to set the scene, the mood of the piece, the tempo of the piece, that sort of thing, right? But if you don't have a singer, you don't have to have an introduction. You can just play. But I chose to put in an introduction because I wanted to set the scene. And in my introduction, this harmonic progression, the way the chords move, doesn't really have anything to do with the hymn itself. Like, this doesn't exist in the original hymn. So I made that up. And the reason I chose this, because to me that represents like the snow coming down, the snowflakes. And if you listen to all the way through the piece, there are those eighth notes. So the eighth notes keep going through the piece. So in my mind, I'm seeing them like they're the snowflakes coming down. Okay? I always, maybe it's because when I was growing up, I watched the Peanuts Christmas specials, but I always like to, I don't know, like think of myself in a Peanuts scene. I know that sounds really weird. It's not as weird as it sounds. And in this one, I'm like sitting, I see like Lucy or someone sitting by the window looking out and watching the snowflakes come down. Okay? So, original, I love both. Oh, okay. Yeah, so Anna, you're right. The original sounds more solemn. It's written for a church, and it's written in a certain time in our history where church was very proper. these days in the United States, at least, there's a lot of what they call like warehouse churches, or even in traditional churches, they do more modern sounding music of our time, and it doesn't sound like that, right? It doesn't sound so somber. By my comment, I meant your arrangement sounds more melodic, like it was written for piano, not organ. Oh yeah, definitely for piano. And the reason you say that is because the piano has the ability to use the sustain pedal. The organ doesn't. Another thing that the organ can't do, and most people don't know this, is on an organ, no matter how heavily you play, it doesn't matter. You're going to get the same level of sound. On a piano, that's not true, right? The keys are touch responsive. They respond to how heavily you play them. So if I play that, heavy, you get a loud sound. If I play light, you get a soft sound. But on an organ, it's not that. On an organ, you have volume pedals, and you also have what are called stops, which the more stops you open up, the louder the sound gets usually, and the fewer stops, the lower the sound. So the organist doesn't have an opportunity to create melodic shading in the way that a pianist does. Melodic shading is when you play a melody and you get louder and softer in the same way that our voice does, right? So yeah, this definitely is not for organ, although you could play it on organ. It will sound different, but I wasn't thinking of an organ when I created this. Gives you the feeling of calm, meditative, and gentle side of winter. Yes, that's exactly what I was intending, Diane. So this introduction, though it's not necessary to the song, I want to draw you into a scene. Then here, the melody comes in, and I chose to start it up here because I think of it like it is a lullaby for a child, because the song is about the birth of a child. And I wanted to keep that sense of simplicity in the best way. Simple, calm, pure, without really ornamentation. So the melody, it's just the melody. The left hand is keeping the sense of snowflakes going. I'm doing it too fast right now. Then when I put them together, I don't add a whole lot of dynamic contrast. You don't want to give your all right at the beginning of a piece. You can, depending on the piece, right? In this piece, I don't want to give it all, meaning I don't want to make everything super loud right from the beginning or have super dramatic things happening. You like both, Michelle? So which is easier to learn depends on your skill set. If you're really good at playing chords and reading, if you've ever looked at a hymnal, Michelle, if you're good at reading like that, then you'll find that one easier to learn. If reading chords, chord is difficult for you, you'll find my version easier. But you can play them both. What you can do is play Gustav. I did it in the same key. Did I? I think I did, yeah. I did it in the same key, so you could play the hymn version first as like an introduction, and then you can go into this. That would be kind of cool, actually. I might do that if I were hired to play in a church, which I've done a lot, and it was time for some kind of solo or an offertory or something, meditative, like taking communion, and I had to fill up time. I would start with just playing the hymn as is, and then throw in that curveball, which is my version. So it would flow from one to the other. Okay. So then, all right, I start with a very simple melody, and I play it very straightforward, like a lullaby. Now here, I put in another kind of interlude. It can't be an intro because we already started the song, but it's an interlude that doesn't exist in the original. So the reason I did this is because, so I initially stated the melody, bum, 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 and then I wanted to step back from it and give the listener a chance to kind of absorb that before I put in what I'm about to tell you now. So I do a little bit of interlude to give just the time to settle. I still have my snowflake. Now, I start in a lower part of the piano, and I think of this as a warmer kind of feel, where this one was very simple, gentle, like innocent. Now I'm going into a richer sound. So I have more notes happening, more chords happening, and I'm in a louder part of the piano, a richer part of the piano, due to the overtone series. We've never talked about that, but you can look up the overtone series. When you go lower on the piano, you're setting in motion more overtones, and the sound is richer. Okay, so here I added a more modern harmony. Then here, again, more modern harmony. So it sounds less churchy. And you can see that the melody's still happening, but also in between those melody notes, I have accompaniment notes. So as a performer, I have to make sure that I bring out the melody notes and kind of put in the background the accompaniment. Here's what I mean. So do you see all those notes? But I don't play it like that. I play it like this. Without pedal and without left hand, it sounds like this. Did you hear the melody? And moving on. Okay, so of course this has to do with technique. Speaking of, my gosh, I'm really bad at this. Okay, if you complete my Become a Piano Superhero course, 1 or 2, by the end of January, and you've never taken Zoom lessons with me, everyone, if you do this, you get a 15-minute free Zoom class with me. Talk about anything you want in the coaching with relating to piano, of course. So if you've been waiting for like a Black Friday special, I don't do stuff like that. I don't really play marketing games. I think it's really kind of weird when a course creator puts a certain price on their course and it's always on sale. Like, then that's, huh? So I don't do that. But I do want to reward you for getting in there and learning your technical stuff that you need. So if you want to have a 15-minute free Zoom session with me and you've never done that before, I know there's a lot of people on this thread who qualify. You have to finish one of the Become a Piano Superhero courses by the end of January. And then in February is when all those classes will be. So use the link below to get to my website and you can check out those courses. So I'm playing. There's a snow, and then I'm here. Sorry about that. I'm modifying the melody a little bit here because I wanted that reaching out, like that yearning, da da da, that part. Again, I'm adding modern harmonies here, and then I'm moving on to the B section of the song. And you can hear it now, there are more chords happening. Another modern harmony that's not in the original. Here also, I really love this sound. That like rubbing between the E and the F. all those really beautiful chords. Now here, that guy, I played it loud on purpose so you can hear it. That I think of as the star twinkling. Twinkle. Okay, so I really want to make that ring with my fingers. Then I go back to a simpler format here, because I know I'm going to get to the end of the song soon, and I don't want to end up big. That's the end of the song, but I don't want to end it there. I want to have like an outro, something to, take us out of that scene. Calling back to my original figure for the introduction. And now the scene is going to come to a close. The curtains are drawing, getting quieter and slower. And here's that star again. And then at the end, I don't stop the sound. I really enjoy the way that it kind of dissipates into the atmosphere. Then I lift my hand and my foot on the pedal at the same time. So that's how I think of interpreting a piece of music. All right, now let's see what y'all have been saying. we're gonna bring this to a close very soon. So if you have questions or anything to say, let me know now. I hope that you have all clicked the thumbs up and all that stuff, because it's important to YouTube. All right. And if you're subscribed, make sure you have that bell notification on. I can kind of look at the back end, and a lot of people who are subscribed don't have the bell notification on. Okay. Let's see. I really like the idea of playing both. Yes, Mitch. And now that you have that gorgeous new piano, and the way that I know Mitch has a gorgeous new piano is because he's in my group, Piano Practice Tips with the Piano Keys, on Facebook. And we share a lot of stuff there. It's such a wonderful community. Pictures, videos, life updates, support, that sort of thing. So go join if you're on Facebook. And if you're not on Facebook, sign up for my mailing list so that when I send stuff out, you'll get it. Okay. I will listen to your lovely, peaceful version when it is just beastly weather and too cold here in Canada. So I was thinking of actually recording some of my Christmas music and putting it on Spotify. What do you guys think? Should I do that? Definitely see this music being played when putting the grandkids to bed, as you mentioned. Yeah. In winter, play Winter Wind. Yeah. By the way, Winter Wind was, if you're talking about what I'm talking about, was not the original name of that piece. It's what people call it later. Seeing the side version is so helpful. Okay, Anna, so I will keep this for our lessons then. I thought that the top version was good, but I think maybe you're right. This is probably better. So I'll keep this for lessons. Talking and playing. Yeah. We know about that, right, Anna? So I force my students, I make them do stuff while they play. They say note names or they count, things like that. And every single one of them, 100% of them, tells me that it's very hard for them to do this, as though it's not hard for other people. But if they stay with it, and if they study with me, they will stay with it, then it gets easier. So if I can talk about something completely unrelated and play, then you can for sure say the note names, Anna. It's a matter of being uncomfortable with not being good at something for a while, and just keep going and have that faith that at some point is going to fit together. Okay. Now do movements for the rest of the seasons. What do you mean? Greg, the seasons of what? Movements for the rest of the seasons. Do you mean compose music? You have to be more clear with me. You know how I am. Spotify. Okay, maybe I will do that. I'll have a Spotify. So what I'll do is I'll do all my or all public domain pieces so that I don't have to worry about copyright stuff. So that's what they will be. Very beautiful. I really like your arrangements. Just got up, so I've not been talking. Sorry. Hey, Ruth. That's okay. I think you're a couple of hours behind me, or at least 1 hour behind me. That's okay. You can watch the replay. Your insights into what went into creating your gorgeous, smooth arrangements make it all the more meaningful. Thank you, Diane. Hi, Amin. Create a Spotify list. People will love it. Okay, I'll start recording some music. The hardest part is the actual recording part. I'm not a recording engineer. So, like Vivaldi? Like... Are you thinking about that? All right, we'll have to talk about that later, Greg. Okay, so thanks so much for joining me. Get my t-shirts, sign up for my mailing list, get the courses to help you to be able to play this stuff, right? Remember, you can get a free coaching with me in February if you become a piano superhero by end of January. I know a lot of you have already done that, so I hope that you'll take me up on the offer. It's not a marketing ploy at all. It's a way for me to make contact with you and just kind of check in to where you are, okay? Because the courses are great, but you can't substitute another pair of eyes, a pair of expert eyes, if you will, watching what you're doing, okay? And just giving you some feedback on that. Okay, get the arrangement and click like. You know, all the stuff that I have to say. Would you consider doing a set with you playing a lot of Christmas songs? Do you mean like a live video, Cindy? Hi, Soraya. Thank you so much. I don't think I've ever seen you here before. Welcome. Glad you're here. It is so cool getting this musician's insight. Oh, thank you, Herman. I love getting Herman's feedback, and here's why. All right, here's why. Because Herman has been playing music for a long time. And I think, Herman, you found me like a year ago. At least that's when you signed up for Piano Practice Tips Facebook group. And he was having some issues with his playing, like we all do. Like nobody is perfect. Okay, we're all works in progress. And I could tell at first he was a little like, yeah, I don't know if your stuff is gonna work for me. But every time that he posts himself playing a piece, it's better and better. Like his technique is improved, and he tells me that, and this is a great quality in a man, Herman. He tells me that he was wrong. He tells me that, yep, actually my stuff does help him, which I love. I love that someone who has such a history of playing music can find value in what I offer and can level up. So Herman, you're the man. You go. Whatever is the cool thing to say now, I don't know. You're welcome, Michelle. All right. So Herman is cool. You're all cool because you're here. And if you're not in my piano practice tips group, get in there. I love checking in there every day. You have to answer all the questions and everything. Agree to the group rules before I let you in. All right, guys. So I'm going to end this stream. I thank you so much for joining. I'm going to go ahead and record a bunch of Christmas songs, put it on Spotify list, and maybe even, I don't know, make a CD. Do people still buy CDs? I have a friend of mine who, like, every time I see him, he's like, when are you going to record a CD? And I think, do people still buy CDs? I don't know. But downloads, maybe? Thank you so much, Cindy. I really appreciate that. All right, guys. Well, I hope that you've enjoyed your time with me as I've enjoyed my time with you. Thank you so much for being here. And keep practicing. Have fun. And I will see you soon. Bye.